Places that are along the coast, right next to the coast, usually are cooler and have more fog. That often means that the wildflower bloom in the spring starts later there and it lasts a little bit longer. So when it gets hot here, you can go out to the coast and see flowers. So this is MONTARA State Beach and MCNEE Ranch, which are north of Half Moon Bay. Again, we often think of the beach as being the sandy place with water. But right behind the sandy beach part of it, you will find there's the coastal bluff and the coastal prairie, both of which bloom and can have a lot of variety. So that's something else for you to do when you go out to the coast. And much of our coast in San Mateo County actually is fairly undisturbed, so you can find some very nice natural areas. One of those is San Pedro Valley Park, which is near Pacifica. It is a very small feeling park because the trails are so intimate. You can be walking along this trail and all the trees and the bushes that have been sculpted by the wind blowing, the salty wind blowing off of the ocean are surrounding you on the trail, and you can see the flowers that are on trees and shrubs because they have flowers also, just as this red flowering currant and the California huckleberry here both have flowers. And then as you come around the corner on the trail in some of these areas, all of a sudden it'll open out to a view over the ocean. So a very different feel, but also a good place to go for wildflowers. And also some places out on the coast, we have the coastal prairies. And they will have lots of grasses, but also some wildflowers, such as the Douglas iris that you see blooming purple here. And a reminder is that flowers have a purpose. In this case, on the right-hand side, we have the male catkin flowers on the hazelnut shrub that come out in late winter and early spring. And then the lower photo is of the hazelnut, actually, that's formed from that flower. So that's what flowering is really about. But it's also interesting to go back to some of your favorite spots and see the seeds develop. Bean Hollow and Pescadero State Beach are south of Half Moon Bay. Another intimate place, and the hike there is only about 1 mile between Pebble Beach and Bean Hollow Beach, and a very short nature hike along that. But you're there at the top of the bluff looking at all these flowers, and then right over the edge is the crashing surf and the tide pools. So you can go out to the beach and see flowers and do all those ocean type things, and at the same time see flowers there. And the short hike is a nice one to take some family on, or folks who are visiting. Let's see, do I have another one for those? Oh, so many good photos. I had to cut some of them. The last one on the coast that I'd like to mention is Año Nuevo State Park. It's way south on the along Highway 1 near the San Mateo County line and the Santa Cruz County line. And most of us know about Año Nuevo State Park because of the elephant seals and the stuff they do out there on the beach. Well, in order to get out there to see that, you walk through some really beautiful area. You walk through coastal prairie with grasses and wildflowers blooming. You'll walk alongside a year-round creek, and there's some interesting trees that will be blooming along there. You'll walk around this freshwater marsh, and that will have a lot of birds on it. And then you'll get to the back dune habitat, the shrubby area behind the dune where there's some native plants, kind of like chaparral there that are blooming. And then you walk through these sandy trails out to the beach. So in a really short distance at Año Nuevo, you get to see a lot of different types of plants, which many will be blooming in the early to mid-spring. Año Nuevo State Park also has a visitors center. It's the Marine Education Center, and focuses mostly on the marine resources there, but they have a great bookstore and a lot of good plant books, so you can go there for plants too. Okay, I wanted to mention, just to finish off, 3 parks that are not in the Santa Cruz Mountains, but if you live in the San Francisco Bay Area and you want to see wildflowers, these are other places that I highly recommend. So there's Henry Cove State Park, It's one of our largest state parks, over 90,000 acres. Very big, and I know I've only seen a very small fraction of it. It's about an hour east of San Jose. It has 250 miles of trails. Some of those trails are very short. Some of those trails you could do a 3-day backpacking trip through. And you can pick your time of year, but they do have spring wildflowers, especially because in 2007 there was the Lick fire there. It was a very big fire. It burned a good part of the preserve, but the way it burned, instead of burning everything down low, it was what we call a mosaic burn. So some places burned kind of hot, some places didn't burn very much. So you end up with different age trees and forests and vegetation there, and that actually is a good place to see wildflowers. We've had some good spring wildflowers there these last few years. I don't know how long this effect of the fire will go on, but you can talk to the rangers out there. And there is a Friends Association out there also called the Pine Ridge Association. And they have their own website. They have some of their publications are just gorgeous for wildflowers. I think we have them here at our book table downstairs. And they also sponsor something called the Backcountry Weekend, which is usually the last week of April. And there are sections on the east side of Henry Coe Park that you can't get in regularly, or at least you can't drive in. If you win the lottery, they actually have a lottery, you can go backpacking there, and you have to get on their website sometime in January to get into the lottery. And you can spend several days out there, or you can go in on a day pass. So that's a very, you gotta plan ahead for that, but if you want a big local wildflower adventure, I do recommend the Backcountry Weekend at Henry Coe State Park. So one of the prettiest parks over in East Bay Regional Parks is SUNOL Regional Park, which is northeast of Fremont and Highway 680. It's a 7,000 acre wilderness area. It's very good for wildflowers. It has a nature trail and also a nature center, and they actually have what they call a wildflower identification kit you can check out of the nature center and take with you on your hike, and then you bring it back in. And if the nature center is closed, you're just supposed to leave it in the little slot outside. So that's a nice feature that they have there. I like to go to this preserve with my friends from East Bay because they know all the secret little hidden falls and places where you can go behind this rock and you might see some, a big patch of a different type of flower there. So that's one place that I recommend in SUNOL. I'm forgetting to tell you what the flowers are that are featured here. But at least on this slide, we have the Johnny Jump Up. That's the violet on the top, and that's the one I mentioned that there's tens of thousands of them up at Russian Ridge right now. And then also, this looks like this is a lupin. It looks like it's one of the bush lupins. I can't tell from the photo which one. Can you, Jeff? Nope? Okay, too many lupins. Anyways, beautiful lupins out there. And I'm going to go back one to Coe. So this is Chinese houses, the big purple and white one. They're called that because they're in whorls, and they kind of look like, I guess, somebody's idea of a pagoda-type housing arrangement. And globe lily there on the bottom. Did I get these? Well, we'll keep moving. Okay, last part, Pinnacles National Monument. From in the Bay Area, you're about 2 to 3 hours away from Pinnacles National Monument. Not close, but really not that far, especially for the fabulous combination of spring wildflowers and rocks. Just lots of colorful variety of rocks. And also condors. You can go down and you can see nesting condors there now. I went down last summer, and if you want to know more, Janine in the back works for me, but she also has been working with the condors at Pinnacles. I didn't know she was going to be here. Anyways, so Pinnacles is a great place to go. It's, like I said, it's 2 to 3 hours from the San Francisco Bay Area. And you can either go on in the east end through Hollister or the west end through Soledad. You can't drive through. So get on their website, pick which end you want to go to, and then go in that way. And I actually find I usually find the east end is my favorite part for wildflowers, but the west end can be nice too. What's that? the pretty face, the yellow flower up there, that was on the east end. I can't remember the name of the trail. We also have a Mariposa lily there, and then a lot of the shooting stars around this blue rock, Steve. Amazing. So those are my 20 recommendations. I do want to recognize all these very generous people who provided me with photos. That's what it looks like out there. Maybe not every year, but often it's that gorgeous when you're out there. Yes, Steve?
I wanted to put in a plug for another favorite park of mine, which is Almrock Park. Right, this year it seems to be especially nice. Right now, this week, there's, it's by the way, the oldest, I think, city park in the state of California. Right now there's white larkspur, blue larkspur, and red larkspur all out there. There's a lot of globe lilies. There are fritillaria that should be blooming very shortly. There's taking the South Rim Trail all the way from the park center. You walk through this main sort of almost a road, and then as it you follow the creek. As it crosses the creek, then it becomes a nice little single track trail. There are thousands and thousands of hillside stars that are blooming right now. It's a really nice thing, and I was there last summer, and one of the profs from UC Berkeley was up there. He was telling me because they have a lot of Dudleya, and they're at this cutoff that goes from the South Rim Trail back down into the middle of the park. There are the Dudley attract particular butterflies that are especially interesting.
Sonoran blue.
Yeah.
It's the butterfly on the cover of the butterfly book for San Francisco Bay Region. It's very beautiful.
Yeah.
So just quickly, I know people have got a lot of good ideas, but I just wanted to mention that. So if you want this list of the 20 that I recommended, they will be. Steve is going to put them on the Native Plant Society website. So the list will look like this, all the places I mentioned, and they will be hyperlinked so you can find out more about them. So that is the website address. It will also, the same list will be going up on my agency's website, openspace.org. And then because I could get it up fast, I've actually put it up on it is currently right now up on my natural history website. I write a natural history blog for the Santa Cruz Mountains, and that's Dipper Ranch. And those are places where you can see it. And I bet Steve, since he's putting this list on the CNPS website, he could add the Almrock Park and the trails that he's recommending, and the flowers that he's recommending also.
And this whole talk is going to be videoed, so if you like the talk as much as I did, you can recommend it to your friends, and we'll have it up on YouTube with a link from CNPS. Okay?
Any questions or comments or amendments? Okay. So today's not the best day to go hiking. So it's a good day to be here. Go downstairs and learn some more flowers. I will be here all day if you have questions on any of these places to go hiking. And get out there and enjoy and share it. Thank you.